4, 5, and 6, set builder and interval notation. Interval notation is a way of writing an inequality, but it's more compact, where we either use a bracket if we're going to include the number, or a parenthesis if we're going right up to that number, but we're not exactly on it. So we're graphing the set x such that -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 0 on the number line. So on the -2 we had the filled in dot. On the 0 we have the open circle, and we're shading between those two dots. So when I do interval notation, I want to write that exact same thing. I look at my number line from left to right. I'm going from -2 to 0. The -2 has the filled in circle, so that means it's going to have a bracket to show that we are including the number. The 0 has an open circle, which means we're not quite to the 0, so that end's going to have a parenthesis. So when we have the filled in dot, we use a bracket. When we have an open circle, we're going to use a parenthesis. And we haven't talked about it, but if you have negative infinity or positive infinity, you also can't be on those, so those will have parentheses next to those also. So, number 5, I have x such that x is less than 1 on my number line. So at 1, we're going to have our open circle. We're shading everything less than 1. So this keeps going and going and going. It's going to go to negative infinity if we could ever get there. So our interval, since we want to go from left to right, goes from negative infinity to 1. Again, we can't be on infinity, so that's going to have a parenthesis. We're not exactly on the 1 either, so we have a parenthesis on that end. And so that's what my interval is going to look like. Number 6, graph the set x such that x is greater than or equal to 3. So on the 3, we'd have a filled in dot since we have the equal to bar. We're shading everything that way. Keeps going and going and going, so it's going to the positive infinity direction. So again, if I do my interval from left to right, 3 to infinity. The 3 has a filled in dot. We are equal to the 3, so we use a bracket. Infinity, we can't be on. We're going to use parentheses. So interval notation should be a shorter way of writing this. Once you start taking higher level math like trig and calculus, you're going to see interval notation more often than you'd see the inequality notation.